The following Dysfunctional Gaming program was filmed in front of a live Twitch audience.
Hey, welcome back. What's happening? We're here with Dysfunctional Gaming talking D&D episode 48. I am Thundercat0420. Over there is GM Patch Nasty. How are you today, buddy?
I'm well. I'm also AKA Meat Popsicle.
Sure.
I just want to see the puzzled look on your face.
Meat
Just to see what you...
AKA
Yes.
Meat Popsicle, AKA GM Patch Nasty. I am...
AKA The Stash.
I am...
AKA Thundercat0420.
AKA Bean Burrito.
Beardless Wonder. AKA Flapjack.
Bean Burrito. Anyways,
AKA Short Stack of Pancakes.
Short stack, tall stack, short stack. Either way, welcome to another Dysfunctional Gaming talking D&D. This week we are going to be talking about Gobliniods, but before we get into that, let's talk about something that I love and create here on Dysfunctional Gaming, Zombo Force. Season 2, Episode 4 is out right now on YouTube. You can also catch up on all of the other episodes. They're all on there on the Zombo Force playlist. They are taking a break, so there will be no episodes until the 8th of January. So catch up while you can.
Or you must... I got nothing. I'm not even going to make the joke. I'm done. Done with that.
If you Google Zombo Force, it's the first thing that pops up. I'm still pretty proud about that. How can you find out what we talked about last week?
You should fucking be following us on Twitch or subscribed. Duh. First off. Number 2, you should already be following us on Apple Podcasts and Spoofy and Anchor and all the places where you can put things in your ear potatoes, because people love to put things in their ear potatoes. Not to be confused with their eye beans. Ear potatoes. If you want something for your eye beans, you can go to YouTube while you're watching Zombo Force. Check out the War for Garaxia and Talking D&D for all of your bodily vegetable needs.
Correct. Well done. That was a well done promo. This week we are talking.
What? Whoa! That was ear potatoes, and then went into eye beans, and then body vegetables. I'm a fucking Trader Joe's.
It was a good promo. Fuzzrab, hi.
Okay. Hi, Fuzz.
Last week we talked about time travel. Woo. This week we're talking about Gobliniods, their kin, the different types of goblins, hobgoblins, bugbears, the whole of them. There's quite a bit of information on goblins in the first place. And then moving on from them, it's gonna be a pretty informational episode.
Goblins are fun. I like goblins. Goblins are like, they're the quintessential bad guys. They're literally 9 times out of 10 when you see a goblin, it's up to no good, because that's D&D. It's like dragons are big and fearsome and scary. Goblins are these malicious creatures that enjoy terrifying glee, violence, and you know, they're an interesting bunch. They're typically one of the things I like to reskin if I want to put something different, have it look like something else, and then have it be a minion and just give it goblin stats. They are just misunderstood. Yeah, some of them are, if that's the way you want to look at it. If you're going from the monster manual, they're assholes. They worship the Lord of Depths and Darkness, which they think is an 11-foot tall, battle-scarred goblin with black skin and fire erupting from its eyes. Not out of adoration, but fear. But you can go with goblins can be misunderstood. There was, yeah, there it is. Speaking of goblins being misunderstood, Vandal chimes in perfectly with, "Oh, group, I was just, I like licking floors, and it's just one of those things that's just, oh." You can make
a misunderstood goblin, Droop.
He was a misunderstood goblin because the big thing is that it showed how bugbears are bullies, which are still kind of goblinoids. They're like cousins. But it shows the hierarchy of goblins, really, because you've got goblins, which are your basic bitches. You've got hobgoblins, which would give your top your bottom bitch, quote unquote. If we were doing this is that's the one you want to go to, and then bugbears are just your they're kind of tanky. I'm trying to figure out what that is in street terms. But
they're the muscle.
I got nothing on that one. Yes, those are the muscle. They're the ones for the DM is the pimp. The hobgoblin is the bottom bitch. The goblins are basic bitches, and then you've got bugbears, which are bouncers, essentially for your pimping. Thundercat, could you go ahead and take this away from me now while you're reading over that, or would you like me to continue to shove my foot in my mouth?
Dude, you can keep talking if you want. It was great. I was just letting it go. I think goblins are great for early game. You can play them any way you want. They made them playable races in Volo's guide. For monstrous races, they're playable now. Like you can actually use them as, like they gave them stats for characters. So like you can be the misunderstood goblin. If you look at Critical Role Season 2, they have Sam Riegel's character plays not the brave.
She wasn't a goblin.
But she was misunderstood as a goblin in the first place.
She was transformed into a goblin.
But she's a goblin, so people misunderstand her because she's a goblin. And she had to hide her face. She had to... If she wasn't a goblin, she wouldn't have had to. Misunderstood.
I can't say anymore, otherwise I would give away spoilers for the Season 2, so I won't do that for all you audio listeners and video. It was a very interesting dynamic to see when they did it, because
a misunderstood goblin, basically.
Spoilers already. Yeah, they're on the third season.
Yeah, the seasons. Oh, yeah, there's no spoilers anymore if they're started a third season. Give me a break.
You know who I live with. I know the fourth season before it's already even written.
She's on Patreon. By the way, we have a Patreon. You can get it in our exclamation links. A lot of goblins become minions for bigger bads, I guess. A lot of them are slaves in the Underdark. The Drow use lots of goblins as their cannon fodder while they hide and snipe from the top. There's a lot of different ways that goblins can be used, and like I said, you can use either the goblin as a character now because of Volo's guide, or you can just strictly have goblins as an evil monster. So I think that's cool.
It's always one of those things, like, it depends on what the DM has in store for, like, the monstrous character races. Like, because if goblins are the big bad in your story, be like, well, I'd prefer you not be a goblin, but you could if you play it off like this. That's where typically I will kind of say no. Like, well, the majority of my campaign is already goblins, and I don't want to have to rely on someone else to not ostracize themselves because of what I have planned in the future.
I was gonna say, imagine how awkward it would have been to have a goblin as a party member during my whole hobgoblin, goblin, gnome, human.
I don't even want to talk about that because you opened up with a cooking competition, and I'm a warforged who doesn't eat or like breathe, and I don't taste. And I was like, all right, this will be interesting. Let's go with it. Let's get weird. Fuck it.
I wanted to have fun. I wanted it to be a more fun campaign, and that's what we're doing.
That's what I did with Drew. Because I was like, oh, well, you can play him off and then get him away. But they kind of like took him in, let him work the bar, and then screwed him over because you and I got to talking. Good old Goblin Town. Don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick.
But that's the good thing about goblins. I like goblins because they're very basic, and you can add a lot to a goblin to give them more depth. Like, as it said, like, you got leaders and followers. In goblin hierarchy, you have goblins and you have a goblin boss. A goblin boss could run like 4 goblins, or it could run 400 goblins.
Yep.
And be easily toppled by another goblin. But you could add so much.
Why is
more.
that goblin boss in charge? Well, he seems to be the fattest one, so it looks like he probably eats the other goblins.
He sat down on the chair.
Yeah, exactly, and no one tried to get him out of there because he's fat.
There's do you remember? I think it was the Sunday campaign. I ran a room from the Mad Mage. Do you remember the room full of goblins and that one dude sitting on a chair?
Yeah, didn't we like toast the whole room?
Yeah, you did. That's like a second level of Bad Mage. All of those goblins worship that goblin. Well, the guy in the chair, because he looks like a human, because he put on a hat and he turned into a human. That is why he is the goblin boss, and he turned it into that whole stockroom merchandise. And I was like, that is so weirdly cool. What?
Yeah,
he took goblins and then just turned it around. I was like, all right, fuck it, why not?
Oh, we had was it the Batiri? Is that what they're called in Tomb of Annihilation?
Yeah, those are fun because those have since they live in the jungle, I believe all goblins have that like advantage on stealth checks.
Okay.
I haven't even scrolled down to the monster manual, but the Batiri could do like a stack, a Batiri totem, and then it has 3 attacks. You have to kill 3 goblins as they're stacked on top of each other.
Well,
and that's
also,
not even
like,
a goblin boss.
Yeah, also like the way their city was set up, like to be sent anywhere.
Route?
Yeah, their escape any way you want. Like I thought that was so cool. Some of the goblin stuff is funny.
I think that was just Pendleton Ward being silly, and I saw that, and I was like, "That's so funny. Why would anyone put their whole town on a net to be flung like 500 feet into the fucking jungle of Chult? Because there's dinosaurs and undead there." Sure. All right. Let's see what happens.
They do like to be in groups. Their tribes are really important to them.
They'll also keep like pets, like rats and wolves. Rats because they are typically, shun sunlight, sleep underground, and wolves are pack hunters, made bigger by numbers, just like goblins. That's one of the big things that I've always seen. And if you like go into a goblin camp, there is at least always one wolf. At least. Thundercat is reading.
I know that in the the starter set with Vindelver.
Yep.
Very goblin heavy in the very beginning.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Very D&D tropey goblinish setups.
That whole campaign is a goddamn trope. Let's be real.
Yeah, well, it is definitely. But the goblins, like if you've listened to the Adventure Zone, the way that Griffin McElroy depicts the goblins, it's like it makes them seem like they're like goofy, but like not the smartest at the same time. They're not like super like aggressive as Vindelver makes it seem like the goblins are. So when they approach the goblins in it, he's like, "Hey, what's up, man? What are you doing inside of my cave?" And like, instead of like they're all on edge and ready to go. It was pretty good to see like another way of portraying goblins. They're not just like out to get you. It also
depends on like the hierarchy too. If you take out the boss and then deal with the minions after, the minions are probably like, just let us go. We don't want to deal with none of that shit. And then lie you and then deal with it. Because at low levels, goblins, as pitiful and low as they are on the D&D monster chain, if there's several of them with short bows and swords, and you're probably under level 3, you could get wiped real quick by a couple of good dice rolls. and a couple of bad dice rolls on your end. Yeah, they're not bolstered by a whole bunch of XP. They're not bolstered by a whole bunch of stats. It's just goblins are numbers. Goblins have always been numbers. It's one of the things that D&D has taught me.
Yeah, they do like live in like colonies too, so it could be, like you said, 4 goblins in a house living together, or underground underneath a house in a basement living together, like in a city, or it could be a colony in the woods of 100 goblins living together, foraging, working, laboring to make the city work, while the rest of the hobgoblins and bugbears wait around for war. Like,
the first thing like, as soon as you said underground goblins, my mind immediately went to the scene from I think it's the first Hoblet in like Goblin Town, where there's so fucking many of them.
Yep.
I was like, yep, that's a party killer right there. That's a TPK waiting to happen.
I mean, even at that point, like in Lord of the Rings, goblins aren't like portrayed as nice, like
or smart.
Like, yeah, or smart. But the orcs are the ones that are running the show, so you could even impose that in your D&D game. Put some orcs in charge of a hobgoblin, like lieutenant, and the lieutenant hobgoblin is the one that's telling the goblins to do all this stuff for the orcs. I don't know. That's something else you could do. I just read, like, I knew this, but I just read it and I want to talk about it. They say that there's a bunch of different goblin types: the hunters, the gatherers, the pariahs, and the lashers. There's also the booyags, which is the magical ones. There are magical goblins here and there.
Finally.
Yeah. Although they're rare, they typically lack the intelligence and patience needed to learn and practice wizardry. And they fare poorly even when given access to the necessary training and knowledge. Sorcerers are less prevalent among them than in many other races, and Kurgor, I can't say this, Kurgor Bayag seems to dislike sharing his divine power with his followers. And although many goblins would readily offer anything to have the abilities of a warlock, the patrons that grant such power know a goblin is unlikely to be able to uphold its end of any bargain. So you don't see many goblins with magic.
So a good one to, like, I've always had the idea for like a goblin boss to, like, just like that little marketplace, have a goblin stumble into a headband of intellect.
Yeah. And then they're a wizard.
Level, boom. Because then he's got an intelligence of 19. So that's a super smart goblin who immediately can be like tactics and planning, becomes the goblin boss, make him a wizard. And then you've got, you know, a very interesting start to a BBEG that's a goblin.
Yes, 100%. There's also, so they, in Volos, they also give you some Booyag types that you could have in the game. And it's actually pretty funny, some of the stuff they give to you. So there's a Buoyant Caster. This goblin served under a hobgoblin wizard, stole a look at its master's spellbook, and learned a little wizardry by aping the gestures and words it remembered. This goblin can cast a randomly determined first-level wizard spell once per day. Intelligence is its spellcasting ability.
What's the intelligence on it?
Whatever
the goblin?
Yeah, whatever the goblin would be. All right, so then there's the Booyag. There's a Buoyant Wielder.
Okay.
This goblin found a magic item, a necklace of fireballs, a circlet of blasting, or the like. It learned how to use it.
Yep. That makes way more sense than mimicking gestures. Okay, go on. What else we got? Got another one?
This is where it starts getting good. There's the Booyag Whip. Kurgog Bayag saw fit to gift this goblin with powers that enable it to dominate others. The goblin has 1d3 other goblins that slavishly obey its orders. There's the Buyog slave. This goblin warlock serves a patron who can extract payment in flesh if the goblin doesn't do as promised. Often this patron is a coven of hags serving as a tribe's boss, a fiend that has made its way into the world, or an undying lord such as a lich or vampire. Use one of the warlock stat blocks in the Appendix B to represent this goblin, adding dark vision and nimble escape traits common to all goblins.
Wow. So it's a warlock NPC with goblin traits. Cool. Yep. All right.
And then there's the final one, which is, I think, the best one.
Please tell me it's a Buyog Paladin.
No, it's the Buyog.
Okay.
This goblin is a sorcerer with the wild magic origin whose every casting, including cantrips, is accompanied by a wild magic surge. Use the mage stat block in the monster manual to represent this goblin, adding dark vision and nimble escape traits common to all goblins. Each time the goblin casts a spell, there's an accompanying surge of wild magic. Roll in the wild magic table as the player handbook.
Why?
So good. It's so good.
No. You're gonna have that. So.
All right. So now let's create the Buyog Paladin. So what would we call it? Instead of a Buyog Paladin, it would be a Buyog. Not healer, shaman.
Sure. I'd make that more of a druid, but
still healer, so either way. I was just gonna give it healing magic.
Was you want to just do cleric or druid then?
Well, I was trying to think of a different name instead of a Buyog something instead of a Buyog Paladin or a Buyog druid.
Well, the shaman, but I was thinking like spell wise. Like cleric or druid.
Yeah, that's fine. Cleric or paladin. They're all the same. They all have cure wounds.
Paladins have cure wounds?
Yeah.
I thought they just have lay on hands.
No, they got cure wounds too. I just never cast it.
Yeah, no one ever casts it because they fucking smite things.
Yeah. Why waste your spells on other things?
Let me go ahead and use my action to give you 5 HP. There we go. And then I'm going to hit things.
Or I can give you 25 because it's level 5. Here you go.
Here's a dump. Smite. Yeah. So would it have like a lay on hands pool instead of like actually being able to cast a spell? Because I like that kind of ability.
Sure,
heal, give it like, I want to say 20 HP.
And that's
20,
it.
It has a pool of 20. It can heal. It can do the disease thing.
Yeah, it cures the disease
I'll give
too.
It the
5. Yep. That's funny. It has to be level 5 for it to be able to use it.
Right.
Or it can do 5 per level, whatever level it is, it gets.
You just give it that. Just give it the 25 HP. It could still be like a little Booyah. Just give it a goblin stat block, and then it's got lay on hands. It wears a silly headdress because they all worship this goblin because it can stave them off from dying.
Also has mage hand for some reason. I don't know why. I just feel like it would be used mage hand a lot to pick stuff up, and that's what really makes the goblins worship it. Is just the mage hand picking stuff up.
The few things, if you're gonna lean into the D&D tropes with goblins, is just they crave power, and when they get it, they abuse it. Just remember that. That is goblins. That is goblins. They may not be intelligent, but they will. Their lairs are trapped. There will be ways for them to know that you are coming, and they will always have a dog or dogs because pack hunters. How big would you make a goblin lair? Like if you were level 3? For, newer DMs who are listening.
Well, so is it like the dungeon that they need to go to and it's going to like
This is the dungeon where they followed a trail to after they found provisions and a wagon that was attacked.
So here's my issue. Well, not my issue. Here's my thing. I would make a probably a 10 to 15 room dungeon for them, which would just be jam packed with goblins.
Just jam packed?
Yeah, there would be like
a closet full of zombies.
Like every room, you'd have to at least fight 4 to 5 zombies, 4 to 5 goblins.
Okay. Just goblins.
Yeah, well, it's a goblin lair. You get further on. I mean, the further on you go, yeah. Well, obviously, yeah, there might be a few dogs and rats in there, but the further on you get to the goblin boss, and I mean, level 3, 4, or 5. That's a hard dungeon. Like I'm thinking. Mm-hmm. I was thinking of Tales from the Yawning Portal, and I was thinking I was thinking the Kobold one, the level 1 to 3. Rough. Like the level 1 to 3, if you're level 3, you could barely make it through that.
The Cragmaw Cave, the hideout.
No, like the Sunless Citadel is what I was thinking.
No, I'm talking about the starter set.
Oh yeah,
I'm talking where you can climb up the trash chute and go fight that big boss, or like in that little cave. I think it's like five rooms, but there's only 6 goblins 15.
altogether.
There are 15 goblins total. There's a bugbear. There are 4 wolves. 3 of the wolves you can circumvent. That's the thing. Like you can circumvent.
You just gotta give a little bit of jerky to one of them, and you're all set.
Yep. And then kill the bugbear. That's the big thing. Like if you can climb up the chute and kill the bugbear, things will be easier.
Or you sweet talk him and charm him and make him your friend, and then he kills everybody in the place.
Yes. That if you are adventure zoning and letting charm person last for that long,
even though he's a monster.
Yes. I have that gripe with charm person and charm monster. Goblins are humanoid.
Here's my issue. Here's my issue with this is when you make a monster race a playable race, they become a humanoid to me. They become someone that you can charm person to me.
Yep. Like dominate creature, dominate monster, dominate person. If it is a playable race, it is a person. Because if it's a monster, it's a creature.
Yep.
Dominate
100.
Beast, that is animals. Those are like bears, and like cats, and like birds, things that are beast types.
Yep.
But yep, that's me stressing on.
You made it a playable race. Yep.
Yeah. Now it can be charmed.
Yes. But well done, Adventure Zone.
Well done. Well done. Was there first episode?
Yeah. First episode. If you if you can give a creature a name, they could I feel like you should be able to charm them as a person.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Like Clark.
Like if my name's Clark and and I can be like, I'm Clark, then I should be able to charm you.
I'll agree. I mean, my thing was when I heard about that I was like, well, that charm person doesn't last that long.
Last an hour.
My only gripe is I was like, I mean, then he's pissed off because you know that he charmed you.
Well, they left. I think they left in time.
Okay.
But he comes back later and ends up being their friend anyway. So I think it worked out.
That's all narrative DMs. If you want to do that, go right ahead. That's perfect.
Make him an NPC, whatever you want to do. It makes it easy on you because then he becomes an NPC in your game forever, and you can.
And then they care about him, and you can.
Yep, and you can use them however you want, wherever you want, whenever you want.
No, not Clark. He's been kidnapped.
We need to go find Clark. Clark's the dumb one that gets that. They're like, "Hey, Clark, come here," and he's like, "Okay, where are we going? Oh, we're gonna have tea." And then he goes and he goes and sits in a room and has tea, and they think he's kidnapped.
Yep.
That's Bugbears.
Good old bugbears.
So talk about Bugbears a little bit. Tell me a little bit more about them.
I don't even have them pulled up, man, because I'm looking at goblins. Bugbears are like big, ugly goblins that are beefy and suck. You don't want to fight a bugbear. Bugbears are like, oh, there's beholders. We don't want to talk about beholders yet. Centaurs, we can talk about centaurs? No. Cambions, bullywugs, Ulets. I want to talk about tremors. I just watched all of them. Bugbears. They are goblinoid. They're furry from what it looks like, what I can see here. They're smelly from what I've also encountered as a player. Surprisingly, from their very, very big build, they're surprisingly stealthy. That is another thing. They also have a baby sneak attack players, so if they get the drop on you, it's gonna hurt. Yeah. If you see goblins, there's probably hobgoblins and bugbears.
I have something that Alminster said in the Volo's book about bugbears.
Give it to me.
One useful trick. If you face bugbears who have severed heads on spikes as trophies, cast the spell to make the heads speak. After that, you can cozen the bugbears into doing almost anything.
I would go on and talk about hobgoblins, but they have 2 pages.
Yeah, there's
3
a lot of
pages.
Stuff.
So from what I'm scrolling through, hobgoblins are kind of badass compared to those 2.
Yeah, hobgoblins are like the commanders, and like they're the ones that like run the armies and shit. Like
hobgoblins are the credible PC race. If you wanted to play some form of a monstrous race, and if your DM says no to a goblin and no to a bugbear, you might be able to get away with a hobgoblin, because that's more believable in my eyes. Because judging by just scrolling through the military martial might, military legions organizing themselves, from the powerful leaders and champions to the rank and file foot soldiers, that kind of screams more order as opposed to chaos that goblins and bugbears seem to have from their quick little blurbs that I'm reading on the monster manual.
Yeah, they're bigger, they're hardier, they're smarter. There's a lot that they can do that goblins cannot.
When the monster manual refers to goblins and bugbears as tribes, and then hobgoblins as societies, that's typically a tipping cap to me that they've got a little bit more of their shit together. There's actual rank and a hierarchy to their power structure, as opposed to he's sitting in the chair.
Yep. Hobgoblins care more for their survival of their legion than they do for others of their own kind. 2 legions might battle over territory, resources, or power, or out of simple pride. Such a feud can continue over generations in an ongoing cycle of retribution. Each legion has a list of grievances against any others it knows about, and any legions meeting for the first time view each other with immediate hostility. Only a true great warlord can force legions to work together as an army of Maglubiet, and has not called forth a host. So basically, a warlord boss is the only one that can make 2 fighting legions become one.
Hobgoblin warlords never tire of combat, but they don't take up arms lightly. Before they attack, hobgoblins conduct thorough reconnaissance to gauge the strengths and weaknesses of their foes. When assaulting a stronghold, they surround it first to cut off escape routes and supply lines, then slowly starve their enemies out. Jeebus.
All right, I have a question for you.
Answer for you, my friend.
Do you think we should cut this into 2 parts and do the second part next week? We can do hobgoblins in a more in-depth.
I honestly I wanna build a lair. I want to build a little hobgoblin lair. Is what I want to do ultimately. Now that I'm reading through the goblin hierarchy power of the pyramid scheme of goblins.
You want to do that right now, or do you want to do that next week with hobgoblins?
I wanted to not next week. I want to do it the week after because I still want to do what I talked about.
Okay. So we'll continue goblins then, and we will get away from hobgoblins.
How have you used goblins in the past?
Well,
you know how I use goblins.
You know how I use goblins.
Well, I mean, they don't. We talked a little bit about it. You turned us on our head when you did that, and then we said "fuck you," and they were out.
Okay, so for the whole beginning of my newest campaign, Vrist, which is my homebrew world, I created a cooking school. It was in the docks where we had our game start. We had all of the players were part of the cooking school in some sort of fashion, either by being security, students, faculty, and administration. Any of those were possible employment opportunities. I had them all in the same room at the same time. They needed more people to join this competition, so I pulled in a couple of the guards, which were a few of the players, a couple of the students, which are a couple of the players, and then two of the secretaries. I believe I had administration people were players as well. So I pulled all the players in and made them do a cooking show. It was a cooking competition. It was recorded on these magical devices that was then sent out to different magical devices that people had bought in the city, and they watched from their image boxes, their idiot boxes, their televisions, the best chef cooking show, and I had to create a whole bunch of NPCs and blah blah blah. The people that were creating said cooking show were gnomes and humans. They all wore the same ring. They all dressed in suits and ties. They were all very proper, and they had confessionals. It was basically like the real world meets cooking show meets.
It was Hell's Kitchen meets
like,
MasterChef.
Yeah, no, meets real world, because I had the confessional. You guys all lived in the same house. There was a jacuzzi.
There's confessionals on Hell's Kitchen. They just don't show most of that shit.
It wasn't Big Brother though. Like I had Big Brother, fucking the TV show Big Brother going on while you guys were also doing a cooking show. There was always TV cameras on you guys. So I had all the pranks that people did in real world shows. I did a bunch of that stuff. Everything was recorded, and everybody that watched said image box became dumber and dumber, and since the idiot box was the name, it made sense.
Gimme Cheeto.
So they found out that there was something going on with the box. These people that were producing this show were being weird. They just who did you win?
No, I was the fan favorite. Which, yes, I did win, as far as I'm concerned.
Whose character won?
Vandal.
Oh, Vandal's character. So Vandal's character wins.
Fucking Bachelor Chow, fucking 3000 won the goddamn chef competition.
That's Aberon. Is that his name?
Yes. Yes, it's Aberon.
I haven't picked up my books in so long. So Aberon wins. They start to go on this tour. They're going to go on a cooking show tour. They're going to go to a bunch of restaurants in all the different cities around the continent, and meet the people and all this stuff. And as they're leaving on the caravan, a few days in, the lead character, well, not character, lead actor,
Gordon
I guess,
Ramsay.
Gordon Ramsay gets kidnapped by Drow, and because the Drow and these people have had a feud going on for a long time, and the characters finally figure out that the gnomes and humans that are creating the show are wearing rings of disguise that were created by a wizard that creates cursed items accidentally, not knowing that all of his items become cursed, has been creating these idiot boxes and making people dumb. Just for the hobgoblins and the goblins who are actually wearing the rings of disguise as the humans and gnomes. We're just trying to get ahead in society without having people scoff at them for being goblins and hobgoblins.
Mm-hmm.
And then my players decided to say fuck Gordon Ramsay and didn't go after the kidnappers and decided to not go forward on that quest. Instead, they went to find vampires, and one of their friends got turned into bronze.
I feel as though we got the short end of the stick on that one.
There was a lot of good stuff honestly, that was gonna happen, and you guys didn't go for it. I was gonna give you a bunch of good shit for it. Where is he go? Oh, he's going to get his bounty book. But yeah, that's what I used goblins and hobgoblins as. The hobgoblins were the humans doing all of the important stuff, and the goblins were the gnomes going around filming.
I got this. Do you know what this is?
I can't remember.
Bone Crusher, a level 15 chaotic evil Goliath vampire fighter who had 163 HP that I killed, and it felt great. I also turned him into a vampire, so justice.
Yep.
That was probably my favorite part of that whole encounter, was me burying that dude and not saying a fucking word about it for like half the session until people realized that I'm the one who did it, and then they questioned it, and I was like, yes, I did that. What of it?
It was so good. I was like, you have to lie as well as you can without lying. You gotta like
and what did
skirt.
I said
you just didn't say a word, which is perfect. But yeah, that was a fun little thing. I just kind of wish that don't worry. There's going to be a lot of return to that stuff eventually. You're going to see what happens.
Yeah, it'll come back to bite us in the ass.
That stuff always, there's always that stuff in the background.
So yeah, D&D goblins for me, they're typically fodder. They're probably going to be fodder. They're working for somebody, or there's just a bunch of them and they have numbers and you don't. Playing Droop and running Phandelver for Vandal and Griff kind of broke me out of that mold a little bit. And just trying to talk like this is just as a character and being a little pathetic when I talk. Squeak. And then just doing that a little bit more. Was kind of fun. I liked being that pathetic goblin who was just thought he was going to get bullied all the time. And I kind of liked it when you take these things that are usually just malicious, nasty creatures and you pathetic them. You make him completely and utterly pathetic, and he likes to lick a floor. That's how you clean a floor. And see if the players stop him from trying to lick a floor clean. It was half the game of that. Batiri's taught me that goblins living against dinosaurs and trying to get their own meals, they can become a little bit more fearsome. They can get stealthy. They can use blowguns. They can have the element of surprise. And they have a little bit more of a structure without having hobgoblins and bugbears. But it's one of those things that I will always recommend if you're playing D&D. One person, just fucking one, should always speak Goblin. Every party should have one person that should speak Goblin, just in case. Because if you hear one Goblin, chances are there's at least 4 more of them within yelling distance. Not to mention the 50 more that are within running distance who can't hear them.
I mean, that's why as a wizard I always take comprehend languages, because you never know when you're going to need to be able to understand something.
Here's the thing too, but if you take that takes time. If you know how to speak Goblin,
not me.
That's the thing. Yeah, true. Not you, but other wizards might not have that perk. A level
You can cast comprehend languages as a regular spell. You don't need to cast it as a ritual.
It has a ritual tag. I don't know. No. That's not how that works. It's got the little R tag. I don't have to use a spell slot if I don't wish.
Just for everyone out there that's new to D&D, you can actually use ritual spells as regular spells if you have them readied to
as
be
they intend. Yes. But it's one of those things that if you don't have a wizard in your party, someone should speak Goblin. If you don't have a translator, you should round out your languages. Always round out your languages.
I mean, I like coming to a table not knowing what everyone else knows as a character. So, like, that's kind of metagamey-ish to me when it comes to, like, creating your character. But at the same time, that's the same thing as changing your class to make sure you have you have another class that can buff or heal or whatever. Like that's metagame. That's metagame too. You're filling roles at that point, which is fine in two different ways. My thought process is this: it's two different ways.
Yeah, when you're building a party, like first of all, people should not be making characters separately. That's my big gripe that I have. I'm like, you should make your characters together. That way, you fucking know your names. You don't have to ask, what's your character's name? What do you look like? That way, you can ask these questions as you're making your characters. If you already have that idea, perfect. Put it out there. This is what my character looks like. I don't have a name. Could you help me?
All right. Well, back to Hobgoblins and Goblins.
Right. We diverge quickly here. What were we talking about?
When have you used? Oh, I've used Bugbears in I think it's the Kobold. I think it's Sunless Citadel. You go down. You go down past the Goblin Lair, which is on the top, down a rope, and there's a Bugbear that is it's the cleaner. It's the Bugbear is the janitor down in the below, and his girlfriend is the other Bugbear that's somewhere in said place, and the Bugbear actually asks you to help, I believe, find her. It's kind of weird at the same time because you're like expecting to fight the Bugbear. I'm pretty sure both times I've had anyone, I think both times I've DM'd it, the people have killed the Bugbear. The players killed the Bugbear. Right. But yeah, I thought that was funny that it was like the janitor of the room, and it was because people would fall from the trap and their bones would need to be cleaned. So they would just come in and pull the people out of the trap, basically. Sweet. Yeah. I think there was a skeleton in the other room that like walked around. It was a undead.
I always like to do the I don't really use Bugbears. I really don't. I use Hobgoblins or I use Goblins. I kind of just skip over the dummies because I'm like, all right, these are just bullies. I don't want to deal with that. Get out of my face. Unless it's in the adventure, then I'll deal with it. Because as Thundercat said, typically they get murdered real quick. Goblins at least have a talking chance. Hobgoblins you will talk to depending on what level you are. If you're under level 5, you better talk to that motherfucker because he will smite you down.
You can make people talk to characters. I mean, talk to enemies, whatever, by just giving them some sort of reason to.
Yep. But typically, if I see a Bugbear,
you approach this large, woolly-looking creature hunched over, looking down. You hear her sniffle. I miss her so.
Do I know what it is?
Not yet. You can approach and get closer. You can see tears coming from its eyes as it looks like a bugbear, but it's sad, and it holds out a picture. Have you seen my sister?
If I was 2, I'd go no.
And
no.
Then you're talking to the bugbear now instead of killing it.
I would continue past the bugbear. No, I have not seen your sister.
And then you know who would stop.
Yeah, everybody else.
And then you'd have to turn around and be like, why are we helping this thing?
Do you have money to pay us for this help? No. Goodbye.
I have this dagger. Oh, your rogue really thinks that dagger is pretty.
Good. You can help the bugbear.
Bye. Yeah,
Anything
basically,
else that we acquire along the way
that's
is
how you
mine.
get someone to talk to a bugbear. That's all I'm saying.
Whether they listen is the question.
Right. But you didn't.
yeah.
You didn't attack immediately. Things that I've learned playing D&D with people. Appeal to something.
Kobold, though, that would have been gone.
Yeah,
Murdered.
appeal to something that isn't gonna get your enemies killed right away.
Appeal to the player's empathy. Patch has none. Let's see what happens. I have
Yep.
it. No, let's not go that far. But yeah, I don't really use bugbears. I kind of skip over them. I like hobgoblins and goblins. I'm kind of a purist when it comes to that type of stuff. It's really just another step. Is one of those things I see it as, like having 15 different puddings or 15 different oozes. You know, I can have 15 different goblins, or I can just have a goblin and a hobgoblin and add things to it. Add a little bit of HP to make it a boss. Add, you know, maybe it's got a +2 scimitar. This is why it's a goblin boss. It has that magic item. It doesn't have, like, that's, I've done that before. I think, have you ever given a goblin like something ridiculously powerful? Like, what is the most ridiculously powerful magic item you would give a goblin?
I mean, depending on what I wanted to do with the goblin group, if they were real like big enemies, he gave me an oath. That's true.
He gave me an oath bow. Yeah.
I don't know. I think there's enough in any game to give anything to anyone. You could give maybe the leader goblin is the leader because they found a pack of cards in the trash and pulled the one that
I knew it
gives it intelligence or whatever, or pulled the one that gives it the special weapon or something. Isn't there like a sun sword or whatever?
It gave it the knight. It
gave
it the knight card.
Like,
that's crazy.
And so from there on out, it doesn't pull any more cards. It just is like, oh, that's weird. And now it's the one that's in charge, and it holds up the pack of cards all the time for everyone to see. Like
that's fucking great. That's real.
What if they got a bag of they found a bag of holding, they like pulled it, flipped it over and emptied it out, and everything falls out because that's what happens, and they find all of these different magical items, and they don't know what they do, but they put them all back in, and they're like, I want that one, because they know what they look like now, and they just reach into the bag and go, I want this one, in their head, and they pull out said item out of the bag, and they go, look, there was nothing in here to start with. Reach your hand in and find it. Put it back in. They can't find it. Magic. Like, that's why they're in charge now. Like, they didn't do anything magical other than pull something out of a bag that they found.
I just for the hilarity of it would give some goblins a bag of beans.
Those are fucking so funny. The bag of beans is one of the funniest things in D&D.
Think about it. You're in a tavern, and all of a sudden, one of the beans sprouts up in the town. Just something happens from that bag of beans. And then it happens like 2 towns over. And it keeps happening. You follow the trail of bean crumbs, and you find this goblin with a bag who's planting beans.
What if
it doesn't look like he's doing he's doing anything harmful?
What if he's not planting them, but he found the bag, and as he was walking, it ripped on like a hook as he was like walking from like out of the tavern, and the beans just start falling out as he like every like 15 feet there's a new bean that falls out of the pocket, and eventually like years later they start getting covered and they raid, and it like sprouts out all these crazy ass things that the beans do.
See, I thought it was just a goblin trying to eat, and every time he grew something, it did something terrible and he skedaddles, goes to the next town, tries it there. There must be something wrong with the town, not the beans.
He gets home and he's like, look, I found a bag of beans, and looks down and there's a big hole in the bottom of the bag.
I like it. On a more
this is so stupid. Think about like
malicious.
5 years later, everything's finally like gets buried because it takes time for things to get buried.
Yeah.
And it rains, and then all of a sudden there's these crazy ass things sprouting out of the fucking ground all around the fucking Sword Coast.
The hand. That was the other thing I would give a goblin, is the hand of Vecna, just to see what I would do with that.
No.
Yeah, why not?
Why the hell? Holy shit!
It finds a hand.
It
doesn't eat it.
Well, hold on.
What?
Doesn't the hand look for like but doesn't the hand look for like the most powerful person to wield it?
It looks for someone to wield it. We just deciphered a way for a bag of beans to not have to be sprouted, and it just kind of worked.
I don't know. I don't think having a goblin with Vecna's hand is the best idea.
It's a goblin.
Do you get intelligence when you get the hand?
No.
What do you like?
You get a wish spell.
Oh god, that's even worse. That's the worst idea.
You get a wish. Hold on, let me look at it. Let me tell you what the hand of Vecna does real quick. I've given it to. I've almost get. You almost took it.
Yeah, I know.
So you get a 5th artifact. Why am I? No, I don't want to go to the fucking the 4th edition. I want to go to 5th edition. All right, here we go. You get a minor beneficial property, a major beneficial property, and a minor detrimental. This is the eye. Those are the eye and the hand. So the hand, you get a score of 20.
Intelligence.
A strength score.
Oh, strength. Okay.
Strength. That's for the hand. Any melee spell attack you make with the hand, and any melee weapon attack you make with the hand, with a weapon held by the hand, deals an extra 2d8 cold damage on a hit. The hand has 8 charges. You can use one action and expend 1 or more charges to cast one of the following spells. Spell save, DC 18. Finger of Death. Slow. I'm sorry, not slow. Yeah, slow. Sleep.
When do the charges respawn?
1d4 plus 4 expended charges daily at dawn.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Each time you cast a spell from the hand to cast the suggestion spell on you, save DC 18, demanding you that commit an evil act.
That could be a really, really funny fucking campaign, man.
It could. Give them one.
Imagine that just being like the first thing on the bounty board. Like level 1, you're like, okay, you approach the bounty board. As you approach the bounty board, it looks like almost hundreds of townsfolk. Like the entire town has gathered around said bounty board. You see 2 of the other players, 2 of the characters, you name what they look like, and as you approach, you see them talking about the bounty. There's no way that a goblin could get the hand of Vecna. Bam. there's just a fucking tagline.
Yeah, you don't get a wish. You get a wish if you get the eye and the hand.
The whole campaign is your group interrogating goblins and groups of goblins trying to find that said goblin that has the hand of Vecna.
Follow the trail of blood. It's probably trying to find the eye. That could be a crazy campaign.
That would be, but it would be also hilarious. The amount of goblins that would die in that campaign would be hilarious too.
So first of all, the suggestion spell, it's gonna fail every time.
Oh yeah,
I can tell you that. Having a goblin with a strength score of 20 is crazy.
And then when it does the extra,
yeah. I can only imagine, like, you're fighting this goblin and you got it on the ropes and it teleports away. I would be so mad.
Now here's the other thing: is now we could make it a booyag as well and add on those extra things because it has the hand of Vecna. Vecna has now made it a booyag because he wants to be it to be his patron. Like, you could really go in depth.
It wants it to get the eye and then bring me back and then get the fuck out of my way.
But so it's its patron for now until that happens.
For now. Good answer. Yeah.
You give him a bunch
Honestly,
of other stuff.
rolling
He
on
gets
that
the
table
wild
right now.
magic. Yeah, just
Yeah.
it would be a lot of fun, I think. Cool. That was fun.
You can cast Wish once a fucking month. That's crazy. If you
How
have both.
about like the Hammer of Thunderbolts, where Thor Goblin.
Yeah, I would do that. Belt of Dwarven Strength or Giant Strength.
Giant strength. Yeah. What about
Extra
what?
soul.
Well,
walk
we
around,
talked about
25 strength support.
we talked about the other one, the Circlet of Intelligence. That one, the fucking
The blasting? Though the Circlet of Blasting is fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
The Headband of Intellect, that's
yeah.
crazy.
That was one we
19
talked about earlier.
intelligence. Yeah, that was one I kind of mentioned because I was like, I like that. I like that item because then
A
things
lot of
start
cool,
talking.
a lot of cool things we can do. I think.
Yeah,
I'm actually
magic items are fun.
happy to see what I come up with because I have to start writing again.
Mm-hmm.
I have to go down to the basement and clean. I'm gonna do that tomorrow now.
I have to work tomorrow.
Oh, Wednesday's my day off. Gets to clean
Days
on
off.
the day off. So days off. Come on, you just had a whole week and a half off, bro.
I'll talk about that. That was unplanned. No, mobilities
Yeah.
don't like that.
The last couple of days have been unplanned for me too.
Fair enough.
All right. So we basically created a new type of goblin today, if you think about it, with all those things that we just
We
talked
did all
about.
kinds of we
Yeah.
created all kinds of goblins. We
Yeah,
made
so
smart
we've done
goblins.
plenty of creation zone stuff. We're not doing any story time stanza stuff because we're gonna hold that off for another week where we do just a whole episode about Carlin again. We'll add more bunch of story time stuff for her as we go. So what do we got going on for Dysfunctional Gaming the rest of the week?
Not a lot because it's the holidays.
We
I'ma be
are
honest.
around. We are around on Friday night and Saturday night. We're just gonna do probably regular streams, playing random games. Nothing, no team nights, nothing, none of that. Like you don't know. There's no rush to be there. We're just gonna be doing streams because we do streams on Fridays and Saturdays. We're trying to just keep the schedule around. If you want to come see us, we'll have a few of us there. Friday night at 9.
Normally
Saturday night at
is
9 is our stream night, team
bingo.
night. But
Yeah.
until the 1st, I think Saturday the 1st of January is going to be our first time back, our time back for Garaxia, the War for Garaxia, which is hosted by our friend Vandal Zero, also DM'd by him. I think the 1st is our day back. So if you're looking to get back into the actual play D&D game, you can check us out on the 1st. We will be coming back with episode 9. We have all of our other 8 episodes up on YouTube right now and also on Anchor FM, so they're on Spotify. So if you can check those out there too, that would be great. For your ear potatoes.
Yes.
And your eye beans they're
Yes,
on
sir.
YouTube.
Yes.
And then after that we'll be back to Friday nights pretty regularly unless
Soon-ish.
stuff comes up starting the week later.
Thanks, Buzz.
Friday night this week we're just going to stream. Following week is Christmas Eve and Christmas Eve and Christmas night, so we'll be off. And then New Year's Eve, I don't know if we're doing a stream. We might do some kind of content. Who knows? We might just do a Zombo Force marathon. Who knows? I don't know what we're doing. I'm just making stuff up as we go. And
You sound like me at the beginning of the episode.
yeah, I like making stuff up. It's good to brainstorm
fun.
on stream, right? What do you have going on?
Tomorrow, Avengers. I've been playing it a lot. I've been bitten by the bug. They made it fun. I enjoy it, so I'm gonna be playing that more often. I'm probably gonna reserve Sundays to Pokemans, because I'm gonna do my DM prep off stream, because I don't want anybody to ruin shit. But yeah, tomorrow 6:30 p.m., 6 o'clock, somewhere around then. I'll be playing some Marvel's Avengers. If you have the game and you're on PlayStation, feel free to swing by Twitch TV/GMPatchNasty. I'll be playing with people I probably won't be in a PlayStation party, but feel free to use me to level your gear, or yeah, just use me all you want. Use me and abuse me, and then throw me away.
Use them. Don't throw them away. Keep them on.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be doing that more often. What do you got going on this week, buddy?
I honestly have no idea. I might stream. I might stream during the day tomorrow again. I might stream tomorrow night. I almost streamed twice yesterday. I was like, I'm
fucking
just
bored, huh?
Well, that, and I like streaming and hanging out with people. So like during the day, it was friggin' nice to get out there and see all the people that I don't normally see during the day, like Tater as Renix, all those guys. Darrow is in there. Like I get to see all the people that normally are streaming when I'm streaming. So
right,
it's like all those people got to come and hang out, and I was like, this is cool. And then also playing Kerbal Space Program and having a person that worked at NASA be like, this sounds like a conversation I overheard at NASA once, and like me basically saying, oh wow, I'm figuring out the buttons finally. Like he's like, I literally heard that before.
Oh, thank you, little brother. Happy belated birthday to that man. Fuzz, could you do me a favor? Could you shout out Spike Vane? Happy birthday, little bro. Once again, congratulations on hitting affiliate and doing all of your overlays by yourself and doing the little blinky VTuber thing. GG's, man.
I'm giving you
retro. That's right.
this. I don't know if you play Warzone, but there's an emote where you can thumbs up and it just kind of goes whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. That's what I'm doing. I'm giving you the Warzone thumbs up. So yeah, I'm gonna be back a few more days this week as well. Who knows? If I'm not working, I'll be back on Thursday and Friday. I'm probably gonna stream. And you can catch me here Friday night and Saturday night. I'll be streaming during those on this channel.
Friday night I will not be around because I has to work, and then I plan. Oh, my man! Thanks, Fuzz.
What?
Mad love.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, I gotta work on Friday, and then I gotta find a way to see Spider-Man this weekend because the internet.
Fuzzrab just took the lead in gifted subs over TSO.
You know what? And if you aren't fucking following that lovely Scott,
yeah, go follow Fuzzrab.
Fuzzrab. Yeah, it's Fuzzrab.
Fuzzrab.
He does that sometimes.
Oh,
yeah.
Dude, that should be one of your channel points, a Fuzzrap.
Yeah, the Fuzzrap.
And you don't have to do rap. You could actually just like make a food rap and be like, "Here's the Fuzzrap." Ha 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 ha! I got you.
Fuck you, Streambot. You work for me.
There he is.
Yeah, that's right. Make me get DD out.
DD, fix it, Daddy.
Broken, Daddy.
Other than that, I'll be back on Sunday night.
You're welcome, Fuzz.
Don't forget to check us out on Patreon. We have a bunch of behind-the-scenes stuff on there. We're doing going to be uploading some more stuff as we go. Still in the new phases of all that, but hopefully things will start being more available. Follow us on Twitter to catch up on everything that we're doing. Anytime we have a change in schedule, we try to post onto Twitter and in Discord. Discord's our other spot that you can really keep up every time we go live. It posts in there and tells you that we're live. And so you can see us on our stations or on this station here.
And when you talk enough in our Discord, you can tell us when you're live so I can come and hang out in your stream.
Fuzzrab tells us every time he's live, and that's how I get in there and make sure that I go in there and say hello.
Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, little bro. Show me memes.
Come hang out with us. Say some stuff. Talk to us.
Yeah, man.
Little bro.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, he could do that. That's right. He could do that too.
Yeah.
Dysfunctional family. You're in that.
Your little bro family. Yeah, we're talking about family. Vin Diesel face. So yeah, that's what we got going on this week. Next week on Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. Talking D&D is going to be doing what? GM Pash Nasty?
We're talking about. We gave you a little tease of it today because I was kind of sneaky about it. we're going to talk about magical items all through mundane and artifacts, because artifacts are super cool. Mundane ones aren't as cool, but they're super useful, like the bag of holding.
We're going to bring our own, well, not our own, but we're going to bring our own. We're going to pick a few from wherever we want and bring them in and talk about why we picked them and what's cool about them, how we might have used them in games. So we might come in with the same ones here and there, which is fine. But I want it to be a surprise. I mean, and we can always go over ones that maybe we thought the other person was going to bring and didn't. I don't know. I think that would be fun.
Audio listeners and video listeners. Well, I got you right here. Give us ideas for magical items. We might talk about making some. That's DMs love to make magic items. I love making magic items.
Send us anything you have regarding tabletop role-playing games. We want to hear it. We want to talk about it. If you have topics that you want us to talk about, send them to us. If you think there's something that we would benefit from listening to, let us know. We want to watch, we want to hear, we want to see from you. So that's why we're really enjoying this. We're almost at episode 50 that cast fear at enemies when played. There are magical items,
Yo, don't even. Yo, you're talking to Kador Sass, man. You can't. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy.
Magical instruments all over the place. There's actually a whole bunch of them in the books too. But yeah, no, we're really looking forward to what next year is going to bring. We're going to finish out this year with episode 50. So we're going to have 50 episodes out in 1 year this year. And we're hoping to get another 50 out next year. If you know anyone that's in the tabletop role-playing game industry that you might think would want to be on the show, let us know. Send them our information. We would love to get in contact with them. I want to learn as much as I can about this industry. I want to learn as much as I can about D&D. I'm learning every day as I watch and listen to new things. So if you know anyone that is in the industry that wants to talk about their upcoming books or their homebrew stuff, let us know. We'd love to have them.
Fuck, if you know anybody who plays tabletop games and who can hold a decent conversation, send them fucking my way so I can screen them and be like, let's talk to them on Talking D&D. Let's fucking do that.
So speaking of that, well, let me get to it real quick. I'm pretty sure. No, Stidge.
Stygian?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He messaged. I don't know if he was serious, but he reacted to the. He reacted to the thing where I wrote on Twitter about us looking for whoever to come. And TTRPGs, we'd love to talk to anyone that wants to be interviewed. And he wrote, "Henlo, yes, I want to talk about D&D, haha." So
yeah, let's talk to
possibility.
I remember, I think it was right around near Extra Life. Stidge asked me if I was free to do a one shot, and I noticed like midway through our stream that he was streaming something, and I was like, "Son of a bitch, I want to play D&D on stream. I do that already. I want to do more." Yes, do more. I want to do more.
But yeah, so we'd love to have him. But without further ado, did we get another note from Randy? Oh, what is he doing?
He's having me. It's the holidays, so he's helping people wrap gifts.
Oh,
at Target. He's working with the Target lady.
Is he?
So he's got me.
So he wasn't the guy I gave money to at the mall, ringing the bell, because I could have sworn that was Randy.
Was there a red pail, or was there a pail that looked like the ball from Toy Story?
It was the ball from Toy Story.
That's probably Randy. Okay, so he's lying to me so he can filter cash from people.
Is he filtering cash from the Salvation Army, basically? That's the Salvation Army with the red pail, right?
I don't know. They can go shove that bell so far up their fucking ass. I hate it. I hear it and I'm like, nope. All right, my change is going right in my butt pocket. If you want that, you could reach in.
All right. Well, I guess without further ado, we're going to go over to our ending page, and who do we have? DM Patch Nasty.
You have me. You have me again.
There's no. He didn't even send anyone.
Nah, man. He's like, hey, it's all right. You just go ahead and do that. You could do the Christmassy thing for me. And I was like, all right, I can do that. You gonna send anybody? No, I'm not sending anybody. There's too much money. Come on, I'm a Santa Claus soup. So here I am singing Christmas character. Christmas. I can't even word because Randy's got me so fucking flummoxed. I'm singing Christmas carols for Randy Newman. Hooray! So, without further ado, I give you Daddy's home, and I think he's drunk. Oh, you better not shout, you better not cry, you better not pout, I'm telling you why. Daddy's home and I think he's drunk. He's walking real slow, he slurs when he speaks, I don't even think he's shaved in 2 weeks. Daddy's home and boy is he drunk. He spent most of our money on Johnny Walker Black, and then he took the rest of it and lost it on the track. So you better not pout, you better not cry, you better... I don't like that look in his eye. Daddy's home and I think Daddy's home and boy is... Daddy's home and he's really drunk. I wanted to give it the little quick rendition.
Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you to FuzzRab for the gifted sub. Thank you to Thundercat for resubscribing for 11 months.
That's you!
Son of a bitch. And thank you for FuzzRab for modding.
Thanks, Fuzz. Thanks for stopping by, Spike. Thanks for
Spike,
being here, everybody.
And welcome to the family with the gift subscription. You can throw the pepperonis and the Randy raids into the chat.
Shakaroni!
All right, let's go over to as Renix playing Monster Hunter World, and it's new to him, so it's fun watching him get super excited when he kills something. So we'll talk to you soon. See you guys on Friday.
Later,
Bye.
guys. See you Friday.